The events of January 6th of this year at the U.S. Capitol have been used to completely change not just our political environment in Washington, but the country itself. It was an insurrection, they told us, by white supremacists. Now, to justify their hysteria, they have told us again and again that rioters murdered a Capitol Hill police officer that day called Brian Sicknick. They even told us in fairly precise terms how that murder occurred.
Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during the hours-long attack.
They beat a Capitol police officer to death with a fire extinguisher.
Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during the fight.
He died at the age of 42 after he was bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher.
Officer Brian Sicknick died, that is true, but the liars on television misled us about how he died. And the truth is, we still don't know. Today, 2 people were arrested for assaulting Brian Sicknick, but they were not charged with murder because authorities acknowledged that they are not sure how Brian Sicknick died. Now, the details of that day matter, once again, because they're used as a pretext for changing this country. Julie Kelly is one of the few people who has been on this story in a forensic, precise way, trying to get to the bottom of what actually happened. She's a senior contributor to American Greatness. She joins us tonight. Julie, thanks for coming on. So 2 people arrested for assaulting Officer Sicknick. Tell us what we know about his death, if you would.
So we don't know much at all. The D.C. Medical Examiner's Office refuses to release the autopsy and toxicology reports on Officer Sicknick, who, as you pointed out, died tragically at the age of 42. We were told for weeks, based.
Hey everybody, I'm Chef Tom with ATBBQ.com. Today we're going to be comparing the Big Green Egg to one of the fastest growing.
Based on a misleading report, a fabricated report in the New York Times published January 8th that he was killed by Trump loyalists with a fire extinguisher. That claim even made it into the Democrats' House impeachment memo against the president. But none of it was true. It has all been a fabricated lie to mislead the American people and justify the impeachment of Donald Trump, and of course to criminalize not just the people who were at the Capitol January 6th, but almost 75 million Trump voters. So today, as you said, 2 men have finally been charged with assaulting a federal officer with a deadly weapon, which is bear spray. But we still don't know, and we may never know, if any attack or assault with bear spray led to Officer Sicknick's death on January 7th.
So we are no closer, and this is not in any way a justification for shooting anyone with bear spray, whether it's an officer or, by the way, protesters. But we are no closer to knowing the truth about why this officer died that day, is the bottom line.
We do not know, and we may never know. I'm sure the D.C. Medical Examiner's Office will not let us know. I'm sure the Justice Department is hoping that these indictments will pivot away from really one of the most egregious lies, exploiting this man's death, adding to the heartbreak and tragedy of his family. And now they're not even talking about what happened to him anymore. He's been used, his death has been used, and everybody's just moving on.
That's exactly right. Facts matter. And you've been tenacious on this, and I hope you'll continue to be. Thank you. Julie Kelly, good to see you.
Thanks, Tucker.